Earlier this year, you had come on the program sort of suggesting that there would be a lot of good opportunities in the Australian M&A space. I mean, you know, sometimes with these things, it's a case of pulling the trigger for more to come. Do you believe that we could see more activity in that space?
I certainly do, for a number of reasons. Firstly, you know, it is still at the moment much cheaper to buy assets than to build assets. So there's that valuation aspect. Even in the case of you know, Arcadium's a good example. You know, whilst BHP is Rio Tinto is paying a premium, and they are paying, you know, $6.7 billion US. Analysts have estimated the actual replacement cost of those assets is probably closer to US $8 billion. So right at the moment, it's still cheaper to buy than to build. I think the second thing is that the regulatory risk and timelines and timeframes are just really blowing out in the resources space, and so, you know, every project is coming up against an ever increasing list of approvals that they require and groups that are trying to slow down the project. So for both those reasons, I think the M&A space has got a lot further to run.
In the global hunt for lithium resources, Romano, I do want to get your sense in, and you know, Sam did highlight this earlier on, but I want to drill it a bit more in terms of how competitive a combine like this could be for China's dominance in the space. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers out here. It has substantial domestic lithium resources and, of course, reserves approximately 87% of lithium brine and 60% of lithium ore.
Yeah, I think you have to distinguish the two in terms of upstream and downstream processing. So certainly, you know, I think multinationals and international companies ex-China will dominate the upstream processing. They'll dominate production of spodumene. They'll dominate production of brines. I think it gets more interesting when you look at the downstream side. So the lithium carbonate, the lithium hydroxide, the actual chemicals that are going to producing lithium batteries. I think that's where you see, you know, China's pronounced dominance, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I think they've got a fairly large head start in terms of economies of scale, in terms of technical expertise and processing and the like. Certainly, I think Japan and South Korea, you know, are coming in from a long way back and are going to try and push into that downstream space. But I think, you know, China's got the front runner position, and it's theirs to lose now.
Do you think an all-cash deal at a time like this made sense by Rio Tinto? Could they have split the deal with some shares?
Yeah, it does make sense. Rio hasn't ruled out the fact that they may actually need to do a modest capital raise and help fund this and maintain their dividends and maintain their other growth projects, of course, they've got in Guinea and the like. So, you know, but I think paying cash creates some certainty. And I think this deal needs certainty because of the number of jurisdictions that are required to approve the deal. The timelines are currently middle of next year at the initial guidance. So I think that if you didn't provide a cash certainty to components, then I think, you know, if it was stock, I think there'd be another variable that would really make the deal harder to get across the line.
Yeah, and I think that would have required some bit of dilution as well, which the markets wouldn't have liked, which is why the stocks are up as we speak. But I do want to get your sense in on, you know, obviously Sam raised the question of more consolidation. I wonder in which region would we see more pronounced consolidation, because obviously the miners in Australia are seeing activity on the M&A front already. But there's a lot that's happening closer home where we are in Singapore, in the ASEAN region as well, Indonesia, Malaysia, looking at the lithium mines. And, you know, trying to be a bigger part of the EV battery supply chain.
Yeah, if you're looking at lithium specifically, then there's really like a couple of jurisdictions where the assets are, and they're pretty much Western Australia, which is producing most of the hard rock, the spodumene, and about 50% of total lithium upstream production. And then, of course, you're looking at Argentina and South America, for the brines. So I think really in the lithium space, we're going to see some further activity in both of those jurisdictions.